What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and as a part of today's video, I want to chat about a worrying trend that seems to be taking place with high-profile NFT sales and the SEC coming after some of these projects. So without taking up any more time, we're going to be touching on two high-profile NFT collections, one released by Mila Kunis, who was a pretty big member of That 70s Show. If you're a member watching from within the US, you probably know what show I'm talking about there. And then there's another case against Tom Bilyeu, who appears to be a pretty big name within the YouTube and content creation space. Now, Tom Bilyeu had an NFT sale which raised a total of $30 million. Now, after being sued by the SEC, they have settled and have agreed to pay a $6 million settlement fine, whereas Mila Kunis' NFT collection has agreed to pay a $1 million settlement fine after raising, I believe, $8 million. So I want to touch on exactly why these particular collections were targeted. Now, once we break this down, I do want to jump into the potential impacts with respect to the Cardano community and NFTs in general, given the fact that NFTs are a pretty big piece of the Cardano network and just crypto and blockchain in general. Now, granted, it's not the only thing that we have. Of course, we've got other applications for crypto, but NFTs are a piece that are always going to be drawing new people into this space. So jumping into the very first article, again, this is going to be touching on Mila Kunis's NFT collection, which appears to have been sued and already settled for $1 million. So the creator of NFT-based cartoon series will have to pay a civil fine and establish a fund to reimburse investors as well. Scrolling down into the very beginning of the article, it states that the United States Securities Exchange, or the SEC, has charged the creators of Mila Kunis's NFT project for selling unregistered securities around the launch of their NFTs back in early 2021. The first thing that sticks out to me here is the fact that this team, or the SEC, I should say, has gone all the way back to sales occurring in 2021, which lets me know that they're not just focusing on the state of crypto and the state of NFTs right now, but they are doing their due diligence and seeing exactly who was able to raise a lot of funds, again, with some of these high profile NFT sales. Now, the NFT sale, right, and the company behind the NFT-based cartoon project has agreed to a cease and desist order that will pay a $1 million civil penalty without admitting fault. So it's interesting to see that they are going to be agreeing to settle, but they're not actually acknowledging the fact that they sold unregistered securities. The company will also destroy any NFTs that it still holds and establish a fair fund to refund investors who purchased the NFTs in the primary sale. Now, there's a couple of things that come to mind. Number one, are all of the people that invested in this particular NFT collection still in the space? Obviously, as you guys know, we're in the bear market. So a lot of those people may have actually kind of wandered away from their NFT investments. And then number two, how are they going to do this in a way that is 100%, guaranteed to make sure that everybody is able to get their funds back? Are they going to set up a website where people are able to claim, their refund, or are they going to be automatically airdropping that back over to the users? I think, again, these are things that we have to take into consideration to make sure that everybody is able to be made whole with respect to charges like this, right? If the collection has to basically stop providing value and they have to reimburse everybody, it has to be done in a way that there's no question about who is able to get their funds and how they're able to get their funds back. If we scroll down just a little bit, it states the amount that the actual team raised. So according to the SEC, this company raised a total of $8 million in the sale of the NFT, which was hosted on Ethereum. If we scroll down a little bit, it states that according to the agency, the NFTs sold out in just 35 minutes, and the company had highlighted specific benefits of owning them. So I think that this is where things kind of get murky, and this is exactly why the SEC is coming after this particular team. So when it comes to some of the benefits, right, they included the ability to resell them on secondary marketplaces, which would actually earn the company a royalty fee. What's interesting is that this is just the nature of NFTs. I'm not aware of many, if at all any, collections that don't have a royalty mechanism or a royalty fee structure, which basically goes back to the team. I know, again, for myself, when I look at NFT collections on jpeg.store, plutus.art, flipper.io, it's very common, right, to see every collection have a royalty fee. Now, the reason why royalties are important is because they go back to the team. So you could imagine that as the collection continues to be traded, right, that portions of that will go back to the team to allow for them to continue building and providing even more value to the NFTs. Now, I think what got this particular team in trouble is the fact that they openly stated that as a result of these royalties and just purchasing the NFT, that there would be some sort of return on investment with respect to the value of the NFT itself. Scrolling down just a little bit, it states that regardless of whether your offering involves beavers, chinchillas, or other animal-based NFTs, under the federal securities laws, it's the economic reality of the offering, not the labels that you put on it or the underlying objects, that guide the determination of what's an investment contract and therefore a security. So regardless of whether they're cute pets or, PFPs, it's the underlying offering that is used to dictate whether or not they are breaking or considered as a securities. So Wednesday's move is the latest against celebrities and notable influencers who offered NFT sales. And this is what I mentioned earlier when I kicked off this video. It seems like they're targeting high-profile members within the community. I'm not sure if it's to send a message to other creators and other collaborators contributing to the space, but there's hundreds, if not thousands, of other NFT projects that have already sold out with very similar offerings that the SEC has yet to charge. Now, whether or not they're actually under their radar is another question. It might just be a piece of time or a matter of time until the SEC targets them as well. Some of the higher profile names that come to my mind include the Bored Ape Yacht Club as well as CryptoPunks. And obviously there's others within Cardano specifically, but a lot of them follow a similar structure as to what we're seeing with Mila Kunis's NFT collection, as well as Tom Bilyeu's. Now, in closing of this particular article, before we jump into the next one, it states that in August, Impact Theory, a media company run by entrepreneur Tom Bilyeu, had to pay $6 million in a settlement fine over its founder's key collection, which also had to be destroyed as a part of the agreement. So not only does the SEC come after them, and not only are these people actually paying a settlement fine, on top of that, they have to actually destroy the NFT collection, therefore completely removing any use case or benefits or utility that any holders who still hold the NFT might actually have access to. So the next thing I want to jump into is going to be the official article coming out from the SEC website, which I'll leave the link to it down below. But this is going to be touching on the charges brought up against Tom Bilyeu and the Impact Theory. If you guys have not seen Tom Bilyeu, he is a pretty big creator with over, I believe, 1 to 2 million subscribers on YouTube. And he basically launched his own NFT collection. And again, the SEC has charged him, and they basically got to shut everything down with respect to that collection. If we jump over to OpenSea here, you can see that the collection is still listed, but there's 0 NFTs listed, and the floor price is actually null right now, again, because there's no way for them to actually sell these NFTs any longer. So if they do, I'm sure that they'll get into additional trouble. And so at this time, this NFT collection is basically considered as dead. Jumping back over into the official article, it states that the SEC has officially charged Impact Theory LLC, a media and entertainment company headquartered in LA, with conducting an unregistered offering of crypto asset securities in the form of NFTs or non-fungible tokens. The Impact Theory team raised approximately $30 million from hundreds of investors, including investors across the United States, through the actual offering. Now, I'm wondering if the SEC would still be able to come after them, and if it would actually make sense for them to chase some of these NFT projects if they had not touched or conducted anything with US investors. Let me know what you think down below. Now, in closing, it says that the order finds that the Impact Theory team encouraged potential investors to view the purchase of the founder's key NFT as an investment into the business, stating that investors would profit from their purchases if the Impact Theory team was successful in its efforts. So that again is the final straw there with respect to how these things are considered or managed as securities in the eyes of the SEC. If there's any wording or any language that basically says that there could be an initial upside as a part of the investment into the NFT project, it looks like that is enough for the SEC to come after some of these projects. Now, amongst other things, the Impact Theory NFT collection, or the Impact Theory team, emphasized that it was trying to build the next Disney, and if successful, it would deliver tremendous value to the founders' key purchasers. The order finds that the NFTs offered and sold to investors were therefore investment contracts and therefore securities. Again, those two words in quotes, tremendous value, appeared to be what was enough grounds for the SEC to charge these projects as securities offerings to the crypto community. So that takes me through the story here that I wanted to chat about as a part of today's video. Obviously, it's a little bit worrying to see the SEC coming after some of these high profile names, but I believe that, this is something that we have to expect and something that we've already seen with fungible tokens. If I recall back when we had the ICO craze or the ICO mania back in 2018, we saw the SEC follow up with a lot of the offerings and basically beginning to charge people with sales of unregistered securities. So let me know what you guys think about this. Again, it's interesting that they're only picking certain people to come after, but it could also just be the fact that it's just the very beginning of a huge crackdown that we might see affecting or impacting other NFT projects. That is going to do it here for today's video, touching on some of the latest news and updates with respect to the NFT market. Again, this could have an impact with the Cardano community, especially if the SEC begins to have more time on their hands to investigate some of these smaller projects building across the blockchain and crypto space. If you guys found any part of today's video to be helpful, as always, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me surrounding anything we've touched on as a part of today's video, then as always, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, I will see you guys in the next video.